Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Ascended Heroes format. And well, I say welcome back, more like welcome to the Ascended Heroes format. Because obviously the Greninja Terror Box video that, I did on last week on Friday, that was not Ascended Heroes. And of course, Sibling Sunday was also not Ascended Heroes format. But obviously we are going to be taking a look at all the various different megas that obviously we can. The main ones I'm going to be featuring this week are the ones that I think are going to have the most impact on, the format and everything. And, well, we're starting off with the one that I'm more confident with than Mega Dragonite, because Mega Dragonite's not been playing ball, and that is Mega Eelektross. Obviously, this is a card that quite a few of us were quite excited for, and with good reason. It's got a lot of capability. And, well, if we take a look at the card, you can kind of see why. But before I go any further and talk about the attacks, as per usual, in the description below, there'll be the usual links. There'll be the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play, and of course the outro and what I think of the deck. So obviously Mega Eelektross is a 350 HP Stage 2, which is actually quite low for a Stage 2, like compared to the other Megas at least, because think about it. Lucario's Stage 1, 340. I guess it's because Eelektross is not known for being a tanky Pokemon. That's just my opinion anyway. And obviously the Mega, I've not looked at the base stats of the Mega in obviously the new game and everything, Legends and everything, but, maybe that's part of the reason why. So obviously we have two attacks on this Mega. We have Split Bomb for 2 lightning energy. This attack does 60 damage to each of two. I've just realised that's worded really weirdly. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. This attack does 60 damage to each of 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. It should be to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. I think that's a typo on their part. Don't apply weakness and resistance for bench Pokemon. Then, of course, we have Disaster Shock for 190 for 3 lightning energy. You may discard, you don't have to, you may discard 2 lightning energy from this Pokemon and make your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed. Paralyzed is a really good effect to have in the format, and obviously the only real way you can do it is by, get out of it, is by either playing a card that recovers you from special conditions, a switch out, or something like a Turo. So there's not many ways around it, but obviously decks are starting to include switch outs and things like that. So, there are problems with this potential Disaster Shock. Now, I did try a Frostless Monkey Dory with the Split Bomb plus Hawlucha. Didn't really work out too well, and obviously I couldn't really keep Split Bomb as an attack. I had to play Lightning Energy, which in a Frostless Monkey Dory deck that just feels kind of rough. Obviously I was playing like Luminous, because obviously this is evolution and stuff like that. But obviously I decided to go what I like to call the Jesse Parker route, which is in other words Iron Hands, Miraidon, and Tapu Koko. Obviously he didn't play Tapu Koko, but I like Tapu Koko with its Link Lightning attack. And other than that, I just kind of kept it like a standard, Miraidon list. Iron Bundle, obviously Bloodmoon Ursaluna, we have stuff like that. But obviously, if we are able to get a turn, like if we go first and we're able to get a turn 2 Mega Eelektross off with double attach, Hawlucha is actually really good in here, because obviously we can hit 270 HP basics with the Split Bomb attack and take 2 prizes. Now obviously when Hawlucha rotates, it's going to be a little bit harder, but obviously, it is something that we have to bear in mind. But obviously we also have a 3-3-2 line of the other part of the Eels. And, well, we have 3 of these, which we'd be daft not to be playing 3 of these. And obviously this lets us recycle lightning energy from our discard pile onto our Pokemon. So in other words, we can have stuff like Bloodmoon powered up earlier. We can have, the Miraidon powered up earlier. Iron Hands powered up earlier. We can even have Mew, which is good to have in a Psychic Weak matchup. We have a lot of options here, and I'm kind of hoping that this list that I've made really works out for us. So let's go to the deck list, and let's have a proper look. Welcome to the deck list. Obviously this Eelektross in the deck list is currently in Japanese, but obviously in the description it will be English, so don't worry about that if you're trying to copy the list and everything. Obviously this is an archetype that, I have tried to include some of the new cards where possible. Obviously I had to include the Eels anyway, but I did throw in one copy of the new Canari, which I'll talk about this in a moment. It's actually a really powerful card. I couldn't find space for a second. I could have gone down to 14 lightning energy, but I like having extra lightning energy in these lists anyway, and having 1 extra just felt really good. So obviously we have 3 Tynamos, 3 Eelektriks, 2 Mega Eelektross, 2 Iron Hands, 2 Miraidon, 1 Squawkabilly, 1 Fez, 1 Hawlucha, 1 Tapu Koko EX, 1 Bloodmoon Ursaluna, 1 Latias, 1 Iron Bundle, and 1 Mew. Then for supporters, you can kind of see what I mean about the Jesse Poker route. 4 Research, 4 Boss, and a Canari. Canari is really good in this list because obviously we do play candies in here just so we can get into Eelektross a bit quicker. And what this lets us do is we discard a card from our hand, preferably a Lightning Energy, and we can search our deck for up to 4 Lightning Pokemon and put them into your hand and shuffle your deck. What that means is you can basically grab anything. So if you want to grab an Eel, you can do that. You want to grab an Iron Hands? Do that. You want to grab a Tapu Koko? You do that. That's how versatile this card is. Obviously, a lot of the time we'll be using it to grab Eels, you know, but we can obviously grab things like Miraidon, Iron Hands, Tapu Koko if we started with our opening hand, which is really good to have. Then, of course, 4 Nest Ball, 4 Generator. It wouldn't be a Miraidon list without these. 2 Ultra Ball, 2 Night Stretcher, 2 Rare Candy, 1 Super Rod, 1 Prime Catcher as a race spec, and 15 Lightning Energy. There's no Stadium in here. Didn't really find a Stadium that would suit us. And yeah, this has felt really fun to play so far. And to be honest, it's one of the few that I'm actually confident with because, you know, PTCG Live being PTCG Live, Dragonite is not playing ball. This hopefully will. So, fingers crossed. But, yeah, in terms of upgrades to this deck, the only real thing I'd want to add in is a Turo, but I've not really found the space for it. Like I say, you can cut down to 14 Lightning Energy if you want, and put in a Turo, but, yeah, don't really see the value in that. You know, like, I think having 15 is just more consistent for your, all your electric generators, and, well, these rotate soon, so we're going to make the most of them, right? But, yeah, let's get into some games and see how we do. And welcome to the first game. Let's put it this way, by the way, about Mega Dragonite. It might come later in the week. It depends on how my luck goes with it. Mega Dragonite, I literally had 1 win out of 3 recorded matches. The second match was against Guardy, so you can imagine how that went once they put down Lotus Clefairy. But then also, the first game that I won was literally because I started Rayquaza, I played an Earthen Vessel, and they just immediately scooped it up. And I'm like, okay, sure. So yeah, that was an interesting start, to say the least. I'm going to start the Tynamo. It's very rare for a donk deck to be around right now, so I'm not too worried about being donked. Ooh, this is the new Team Rocket's Porygon Honchkrow deck. This will be interesting. But that does mean Iron Hands has very good value. And they just pass. Ooh, there's an Eel, but we don't need to worry about that now. So we're going to Nest Ball. We'll grab our only Miraidon, interestingly enough. What about others? So we prized a Tynamo, that's fine. We've prized no Eels whatsoever. We've got a Boss in hand and a Research in hand. We've got Canari in there, so that's good. And we've prized 3 Lightning. That's going to be feeling rough, but we will deal with that. So then we'll Tandem Unit. Grab a Hands and a Koko. And we'll just Research. I probably should have bench Bundle, actually, but it's not a big deal. I'm not too worried about that. I can Nest Ball, because I've got 2 bench spaces. I could grab Squawk, but I don't think I need to Squawk this time. But then again, I could get an extra generator. So yeah, I'm going to grab Squawk. And then I'll Nest Ball again and grab an Eel, just so I have it. Because obviously this one could be targeted for all I know. So then I will attach to the hands. I'll then Generator. We hit the 1. That is fine. I'll Squawk and seize this hand away. Oh, that's a whiff. Oh, I wish I'd have gone with Koko now. I'll just pass them. That's all we can do. That feels kind of bad. But is Honchkrow Lightning weak? I didn't look at it. I know the Murkrow is, but I don't know if the Honchkrow... I would imagine the Honchkrow is. Because that's going to be good for us. But now that feels rough whiffing that, man. That feels rough. And well, we don't play any hand disruption, so that's going to feel even rougher. There's Team Rocket's Factory, but obviously we can use the Mega Eel here. If we find the Mega, we are definitely going to use it on these Porygons. Take some prizes. But obviously with the Eel being quite spongy for a Stage 2 Mega, they only need 6 discarded to actually do it. Well, there's a Generator, so we'll start off by doing that. We hit double, so I'm going to put one there, and I'm going to put one on the Tynamo. I'm going to evolve to the Eel, just so I have it. I'll Dynamotor, probably to the Tapu Koko, just so I have... Then again, I can Dynamotor here, manually attach here, so I think that's better. I can manually attach to the Eel. Now, do I want to boss? Probably do, because these guys are not a threat. Stage 1 Honchkrow is. So I'm going to go into the hands, boss one of the Murkrows, and we will amp you very much and take 2 prizes. We might as well make use of the hands whilst we have him. And to quote a Last of Us YouTuber that I watch on occasion when he makes a funny short, we're using the hands that God gave us. In this case, we're using metallic ones because, you know, Iron Hands is completely made of metal. Now, they only need 4 plus a Team Rocket's energy to actually take out the Iron Hands here. And there's an Archer, that's fine. There's Candy, so we could get Fez off of that. We could be okay. They are evolving stuff though, but obviously we can use the Mega as an attacker anyway. And plus I kind of want to set up the Tapu Koko at some point. There's Ignition, but they don't have a way to switch this out. Are you giving me 2 prizes? Ooh, that feels bad! That feels bad for you, my friend. I'm going to set up the Koko then. We're just going to amp again. Why would they attach? Because Ignition discards itself. Maybe he's never played the deck before. I don't know. But hey, we'll take the 2 prizes. We might as well. There's Hawlucha, but Hawlucha's not very useful. Because, well, they've already evolved their Porygons. I do want to at least get 1 attack off of the Mega, but we're probably not going to be able to. So how many supporters do they have in the discard pile? They have 2. So not looking good for them so far. Did they not air balloon the Honchkrow? Did they have something I don't know about? Ariana, okay. They could still get it. They only need 4. Because Rocket Feathers does 60 times. Did they have it? Team Rocket's Factory for 2. Reconstitute. They can get rid of cards that they don't need and potentially draw into another supporter. Ooh, discard the Proton. That's not correct, mate. Reconstitute. I don't think they have it. Porygon 2 and Ignition. They could still get there. They only need 4. We'll soon find out. And yeah, they've got it. Fair play. So, how many do they have now? Because that's going to impact my decision making here. So let's promote the Eel, because obviously this does have free retreat, that's why we play them. There's a boss. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is not a threat right now. So that's Nest Ball, grab my Fez, just so I have him. Because there's no point me putting down this Hawlucha, it's not serving me any use. Okay. That doesn't really get us anywhere. I can attack with Koko and at least take out the Honchkrow, which is fine. And I think that's my best option. So I'm just going to Dynamotor to the Tapu Koko. Do I want to boss? No, because I want to take out this Honchkrow. Well, I'll evolve this Eel after I retreat. Don't make that misplay, Joe. So I'll do that. I can then Eel to probably Miraidon. So, oh, what else if Pikachu's Live is playing ball? I can attach to Miraidon. I can then generate it to Thin. We thin an extra 1. And then we will link to Lightning for 320 because of weakness. Nice thing to have is, for sure, that. Having Lightning weakness. And he's just going to pick it up. It's a shame we couldn't finish him off with the Mega there, but, well, I'll take it. That's at least something. But it just proves that Iron Hands still has his value. Let's go to a game 2. Well, it was unfortunate that we whiffed there, and I've just remembered that if I'd have been able to get that Honchkrow on the bench, and it obviously came into the active after we Hawlucha'd, I could have actually taken it out with Split Bomb. Split Bomb does do weakness to the active, but still, we'll take it. It's a shame we didn't get to use the Mega that game, but, well, Iron Hands did his job, which is the important thing. If I'd have used Bundle and I'd have set up Koko, which, by the way, for those that don't know, Koko does have free retreat. It's very nice to have. Full Metal Lab, Lilies, Boss, Pokegears. What the hell is this? I don't know what I'm facing here. Although this hand of mine is looking pretty shocking, to say the least. So hopefully we get an answer as to what we're facing against. I will definitely take that, and that is beautiful. We'd like to see that. Relicanth. Is this our Chaladon, maybe? Is the only thing that comes to my mind. Vessel, Away of Metal, not surprising. Okay. I'm getting a strong whiff of our Chaladon. We might have a Donk here. Okay, that's fine. So, we have Squawk. It's actually good to Squawk here. First, I'm going to bench this, and then I will Squawk. There's Miraidon and Generator. So we need to thin with Generator... Well, we need to thin with Miraidon first. What? We have prized that much? Nah, have we seriously prized double hands? Wow, we have prized double hands. That is crazy. Well, in that case, I'll just thin out an Eel and another Miraidon. Because apparently we're going to be going for game with Miraidon, not Iron Hands. Generator, we get a double. Excellent. So we'll win Miraidon Donk. That's crazy that we prized double hands, but luckily it doesn't matter. We can Photon Blaster, take ourselves an easy Donk. Let's go to game 3. Well, it just seems that PTCG Live doesn't want me to play the Mega, and we've actually got up to Galvantula rank, which is pretty nice to have. But yeah, once again, even though we priced double hands, which I've not had that in a while, we was able to get the Donk thanks to the Generator and the Manual Attach. Thank goodness we thinned anyway, because that could have mattered, to say the least. But hopefully we get to use the Mega this game. Like I said, I had a really interesting idea. I was playing a 2-2-2 line, Tynamo Eelektross, and I played it in like a Frostlass Monkey Dory. I'm so glad I'm not starting Bear here. Jeez, this hand is rough. 4 Lightning, Eel, Bear. Ooh, that was close. And looks like we're facing another Team Rocket's deck. That's fine. This could be rough though, that's for sure. Especially with an open hand like this. Proton, Murkrow, so we're facing Honchkrow basically, that's fine. It's not the same guy from earlier, because obviously he ran the alt arts of Murkrow. And a pass. That is fine. That doesn't even save us neither. I think I'm going to have to start attaching to Bear. Just so I have an attacker. So I'm going to have to attach the Bear, attach a Lightning, and pass. There's nothing else I can do with this hand. That is crazy. Relying on Bloodmoon Ursaluna as your attacker this early, kind of a bad thing, but hopefully we'll deal with it maybe, I don't know, but fingers crossed. There's Petrol. That's fine. Obviously, they're going to be playing a high count of, you know, discard cards. For example, Secret Box. Triple Archer. I don't blame you for getting rid of them with this hand. Because the only thing I'm going to be swinging with anytime soon is Bloodmoon Ursaluna. We'll see what the next top deck is, because I'm not wasting my time here, because this is shocking, to say the least. And, well, I kind of want to attack with a Mega at some point during this video, you know. Like, Iron Hands has done his job, Tapu Koko has done his job at being a free retreater. Miraidon's done his job as an attacker. And he's going to go straight in with the R-Command. He should have 5 in there, right? Yeah. Exactly 100. And now we have to promote Bear. Well, I'm glad I benched him, to say the least, otherwise we'd have lost right there. Although, judging by this next draw, we could lose anyway. They're taking a long time to select a prize card, that's for sure. It don't take that long to choose a prize card. Maybe their prizes are really bad, maybe they've got, like, multiple energy, like Ignition in the prizes, I don't know, but yeah, they don't need to be taking this long. Maybe they're doing eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I don't know, but yeah, you don't need to take this long to take a prize card, that's just disrespectful to your opponent. Or maybe they've rage quit or disconnected. I don't know. I don't know why you disconnect when I've only got a bear left, but you do you, I guess. They could have disconnected, because it doesn't take you 30 seconds. Sure, there's a timer on it. There we go. And well, there goes Ignition, but obviously we only have the bear, so if we don't draw anything good, which we don't, I will see you in Game 4. And welcome back to Game 4. Obviously we wasn't able to really do anything that game, and of course our opponent decided to be a twat, and, well, take 30 seconds to take a prize card. Fingers crossed we actually get to use the eel this game, and maybe even play Canari, which would be really nice, because Canari I only put in, because, like, obviously it's an extra way for us to grab lightning Pokemon. And I just thought, well, there's an eel, but obviously we'll have to discard it. I'll start Squawk, it's fine. We're going to be putting down 2 prizes primarily anyway. But no, this is an alright opening hand. You know, we have Nest Ball for Miraidon, we can Thin with Miraidon, then Research, then Squawk. Obviously, we want to attach our Lightning Energy to the Squawk first, because there's no guarantee us we're going to find Latias off of the 13 cards that we're going to draw. Yeah, 13 cards. Cause well, technically it's 14 because we have our top deck, but still, we're going to be seeing a lot of cards this game. They attach to Luminous. Nest Ball, so we're not getting another Donk. That's a shame. To be fair, I want to use the Eel, so, you know, kind of want to get that going. What are going to Nest Ball for, though? They're probably just going to grab another Dreepy, because they kind of need to. If I get her hands off and manage to take out this Dreepy, that feels kind of bad for them. But you're going first. Jamming Tower, that's fine. Okay, again, you're going first. Oh, if only we played Vitband, Squawk could take a knockout here. So we'll go bench the Squawk, or we'll attach to the Squawk. We'll Nest Ball just so we can do that. We'll grab a Miraidon. We'll do a prize check once we're Miraidon. It's just easier that way because obviously we are thin in the deck. So then we'll Tynamo unit, grab a Hands and a Tynamo. Let's see. So we're not prized at any Eels. That's good. We've got 2 Researchers in hand plus the boss. So we're not prized any supporters. There's our Canari. There's Prime. We've got 2 energy in the prizes this time. That is fine. So then we'll go straight for a big fat Research. There's Canari, that can be useful later. So then I will... Do I have I didn't have Tapu Koko in deck, did I? I'm going to Nest Ball and double check. No, I didn't, that's fine. I was going to grab Tapu Koko here, but unfortunately I can't. So we'll Generator, we hit the double. So we'll attach the Miraidon, because obviously we can't do a whole lot else. And do I want to... I don't want to Squawk, because obviously my opening hand's not been great. I'm just going to Motivate for 20. Just assert dominance, you know? If need be, I can boss and take a knockout with Motivate. It's not every day you get to do that. And if he wants to leave this Badoo in the active, he most certainly can. But that Squawk is going to be taking a knockout. There's Boss. He's probably going to boss the Hands. That is fine. We do have Canari, but obviously this is kind of bad for us because, well, we don't have a way to get our Latias down now. Unless we draw into it, that is. Otherwise, we're going to be manually attaching to Iron Hands for a few turns, which is kind of bad. There's Ultra Ball, but we can't use it, so we're going to Canari it away. Grab ourselves double Eel. I want to leave a bench space for Latias, should that come up. So I'm just going to Canari for the 2 Eels. And then I'll just manually attach to the Iron Hands and pass. I think that's pretty fair, you know. Might as well. The Jamming Tower doesn't bother us, because obviously we don't play, you know, we don't play any, like, tools anyway. And it is Dragon Dusk, that's fine. They're scared of the Squawkabilly. I'll say that right now, they're scared of the Squawkabilly. And there's another Itchy Pollen. That's fine. Alright. Well, there's a Lightning Energy. I need to commit them to the Iron Hands, though. So we'll just pass. I kind of wish I had put them on the hands now, but, well, it's fine. Obviously, I was hoping to get a you know, I was hoping to get what I did off of the, you know, off the top deck, but I didn't. And obviously, if we do have Latias as our top deck, that actually feels kind of rough. But we can Latias into the Squawkabilly, take out the Bidoof, which is nice. But then obviously we are very open to a Dragapult attack. And obviously we give them Fez value after that. And even Dracloak into a Lilies, which feels kind of rough. Obviously the Mega Eel's going to be useful in this matchup, because obviously Disaster Shock can obviously deal with a Dragapult, because they don't really play switch outs. They play Turo, but they only play it as a 1 count. So hopefully we can at least get an arm press off and maybe take out this Dracloak, because I'd prioritize that over the Bidoof. Okay, let's get a top deck of Lightning Energy, please. Thank you very much. And then we'll boss the Dracloak and arm press, take it out. At least then I'm taking out their energy. Yes, they do play Neo Upper, but at least I'm putting pressure on them. There's Candy, that's not very useful though. So now they need to gust something else. That's their main priority right now. They need to gust something else. Because Iron Hands could just start taking, you know, it can just start taking up arm press. Well, not arm press. Ampy very much as if I get another Lightning. So maybe they have CC. They can dig for it, most certainly. There's no point me evolving the Mega now, because obviously it is vulnerable to a... You know, it is vulnerable to our current situation with the Dragapults and stuff. But if they don't find a CC or a boss, we could be okay here. Especially if we top deck another Lightning, which the last time I said that, it happened. So you never know, it could happen. Have they Fezzed yet? I don't think they have. No, they haven't. They've not used Fez, which is weird. Because correct sequencing would be Fez first, but okay. There's CC, that's annoying. So now we'll start attaching to this eel if we get Lightning Energy. They're probably just thinking they're, you know, like, they're going to waste my time or anything like that. They're not really, because, you know, taking out the eels is not a big deal to me. You know, like, it's not a big deal. I just wish Mega Eelektross had free retreat, but, well... You know, there's only so much you can ask for. There's Ultra Ball. And they're going to evolve this into a Pult, is my question. Maybe? I don't know. I don't really see the value of them doing that, because, you know, like, you do protect it from Iron Hands, but you play Neo Upper, so you should have no excuse. There's Dragapult, so they're definitely going to do it. That's fine. Flip the script finally, because their sequencing is awful. Nest Ball, they're going to fit again. What am I grabbing this time? You don't need to grab anything else. But no, I'm hoping we can potentially get a Split Bomb off, which would be pretty good, because we can take out Bidoof and put some pressure on one of their, you know, attackers and stuff. That could be something. But I think it's just going to be another Itchy Pollen, once they stop playing cards unnecessarily. We did have Hawlucha in the discard pile, so, like, potentially we could do something, but we'd need a miracle, that's for sure. Because at the minute, we can't really do a whole lot. We could gust Dusclops, maybe? That could be something. I'm just thinking that if we get a boss off the top, we gust the Dusclops. They've really taken a long time with their turn. They already done everything they need to do. Just Iron... Well, not Iron Hands. Just Itchy Pollen. There we go. Took them long enough. Alright, let's see what we got off the top. There's a generator, but we can't play it, obviously. I don't know why I went to play it, because, well, we're Itchy Pollen. I don't really want to put down anything else, so I'm just going to shuffle the deck. And I'm just going to pass. There's not a lot we're doing here, unfortunately, folks. Because, well, in typical Dragapult fashion, they love stalling. Maybe they're a learner on their first driving lesson or something. I don't know. They just... Dragapult players just love stalling. And fair enough, they do have a good advantage here, you know, like, we've not been able to Iron Hands all that much. But, you know, it can be quite annoying, to say the least. And we don't play many switch outs, like, we literally just play the Prime. And a couple of Air Balloon, I believe. But... yeah, this is not looking good. And that's the thing, like, you can only prepare so much for an archetype like this. Like, Bidoof is just so annoying. But unfortunately, there's only so much I can put in a deck list. And obviously, with me not being able to play these generators, I can't thin the deck. Which would be really nice to do right now. That's what I mean, they were so afraid of the Squawkabilly KO. That's the thing, like, they've had all this time to set up their board, and now they're only just getting a swing in, like, you know, they're only just getting a swing in now because they've taken that long, you know, like, look at the time difference on the right-hand side is all I'll say. But they can Clops, which would be pretty bad. They could take out both Eels, which would be really bad, but then they give us a prize card, and if we can Gust one of the Cloaks, we take 2 prizes. But it depends on what they want to do, because all they've been doing is just itchy, itchy, itchy. That's all they've been doing. And that's the only play they seem to know, in typical Pult fashion. Counter Catcher. They can take out Iron Hands here, if they want to do that. Which apparently they're going to do, but they're taking their sweet time about it. And an Ionos. There goes our Eel. That's unfortunate. How much slow playing? Are you a Guardy player secretly? This guy's got to be a Guardy player. There's no other, you know, like, thing here. They can take 4 prizes if they Dust Noir the Squawk now. But no, they're just going to Phantom Dive. It took you that long to do that. Jesus. And yeah, they're setting up for the attack there. But this does mean we can get the Eelektross out, because we can obviously Night Stretcher for the one in the discard pile. So I'll promote the Squawk. We'll bench the Fez just so we have that and get some extra draw. Okay, that's fine. So then we Night Stretcher, back the Mega. We'll Dynamo to the fresh one. But then again, attacking with this one's... Is it fine? Just thinking about math here. 350 minus 20. There will be 10 off. I think it's fine to just power up the fresh one. So then we'll Dynamotor again. To itself. Attach. Then Miraidon. This is where I wish I had Zekrom on the list, but unfortunately there's only so much I can put in. Iron Hands will thin you out. Generator to thin. We get the 1. We will then Mega Evolve. Retreat into the Eel. And we will Disaster Shock and discard 2 energy. So now they are paralyzed. Which hopefully should buy us some time. Because then we can Split Bomb, take out the Bidoof, and potentially put some pressure on elsewhere. Because unless we retreat this Eel, we're not going to be able to get, you know, we're not going to be able to get another Disaster Shock off and take out this Pult. We are 30 damage off of actually amping this Pult as well. Well, we're 10 damage off of amping this Pult, sorry. Which would be really nice, but unfortunately we can't. We could take it out Miraidon, but Miraidon's vulnerable to Phantom Dive. We could still get there, though. It depends on if they Curse Blast this turn, which they could. But then you're just giving me more lines, you know? There's more lines you're giving me, so to speak. Because then we could grab Hawlucha and start causing havoc. So maybe they do want to Dust Noir this turn, but I don't think it's wise to do so. But obviously all they need after they do that is Gust for game. There's Ultra Ball. But remember, under Paralysis, you cannot retreat. They get rid of Jamming Tower and a Dreepy. They're definitely a Closet Guardian player, because they are taking the mick. Pult, that's fine. They're about to learn about Paralysis if they've never seen it before, that's for sure. Like I say, I wish we did another... I wish this did 200 damage, because then I could amp this for 3 prizes and at least go down in style, you know? But no, unfortunately I can't. There's a boss. They're boss in the hands. Bear in mind they just got paralysed. Curse Blast. Taking out the Squawk. So that's your support for turn. Unless you're playing a switch card, you cannot get this Dragapult out of the active right now. There's a Lightning. We need our Prime Catcher, basically. Because remember, Dragapult cannot attack whilst it's paralyzed. It simply can't. It's not allowed to. Ooh. Ooh, we could split bomb here. But then again, I need to take out this pole. There's research. So we'll attach to the eel. Just so we have it. Do I think with Miraidon for... I definitely research. I know that much. So we research. We don't get it. So we flip the script. We still don't get it. Are you serious right now? Then again, we can Nest Ball... Is Latias in deck? No. Shit. Okay, that's really bad. I'll fail it then. I think they've got us dead to rights here. We'll go into the Mega, just so we have it. Generator. Nope, that's not getting me anywhere. Yeah, I think we just lose here, unfortunately. We've managed to use the Mega, at least to some extent, but whiffing the Prime there is just so rough. That is so rough, but still, we did well enough with the deck. I mean, it definitely needs a couple of changes, I think, but, you know, I'll talk about that in a moment. But, you know, we got a couple of wins, you know, I'll take it. It's at least doing better than Dragonite did in the first few games I played with that. So, what did I think to the deck? This deck definitely has some potential. I just think it's held a bit back by the fact that A, I'm not playing a Turo, and B, everyone just keeps gusting the eels, which I guess it's because Mega Dragonite relies on the eels as well. I guess they must think like eels are so critical now, which makes sense, but when you're trying to, you know, get an attack off with the Mega Eel, it can be really tough, and that's why I kind of went for a Miraidon box approach. And like I said, we could have split bombed for, you know, taking out what we did, but, you know, ultimately they would have had Gust for game as it turned out. So even with, you know, them potentially letting us split bomb and take another 2 prizes on the Bidoof and the Duskull, we would have potentially lost that game anyway. And that's the problem with this Mega Eelektross. I think it's just too slow. The problem is that if you commit a deck space to Rare Candies, the Mega Eel, and the fact that the attacks on the Mega Eel are just very underwhelming. You know, like Paralysis is really good, as we saw in that game. But if your opponent just knows how to play around it, and obviously we had our Latias in the prize cards, you know, it can be really tough. And that's the problem with it. But ultimately, I think this deck is just held back a little bit by the fact that it's relying so much on getting these eels into play. I think, personally, just take the eels out, take the candies out, and just play a regular Miraidon box. It's probably just going to be a better deck. And well, with the pressure of Iron Hands and the current Megas that do take a bit of time to set up, I think that's probably the best thing you can do going forward. But anyway, I'm going to leave it all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing the Mega Eelektross deck and friends, and I'll see you next time.